In our business, the end of summer and the start of fall presents a greater risk of injury, of getting hurt, than any other time of year. We don't know all the reasons for that, but certainly rushing to get jobs completed before the rainy season starts, frustration for having a big backlog of work and not enough resources to build it, complacency from doing the same job over and over all year, and of course fatigue for a long, hard year work all play a part. Especially at this time of year, it is critical that we double down on our SafeStart tools to keep ourselves and our team safe. Consistently self-triggering on our state so that we can avoid the critical errors that get us hurt is the most powerful thing we can do to improve our safety behaviors. We must make the practice of self-triggering, building that constant awareness of our own states and our work environment, a consistent habit. SafeStart has taught us that building the self-triggering habit is really tough to do all on our own. We need some kind of reminder to self-trigger. Notes and calendar reminders don't work for that. The best form of reminder comes from someone on our team helping it. It's a way of having each other's backs. At this Finish with Zero meeting, we are launching the next step in our SafeStart behavior-based safety program. This next step is called Rate Your State. It's simply a way to promote conversations among teams that will lead to greater situational awareness, a way of reminding us to self-trigger. The Rate Your State program works starting with a card that I would use to come up to a team member and ask a series of questions designed to understand how that team member is doing about the critical error reduction techniques that can be used to keep them safer. There's no quiz aspect of it, there's no right or wrong answers, there's no judgment about it. It's just to promote that discussion regularly on the job site with the idea behind that it causes people to self-trigger on their states. The conversations are about things that we already know how to do. We all know the Rate Your State language. Everybody can recite the 4 states: rushing, frustration, complacency, and fatigue. Many of us can recite the critical error reduction techniques. So these are things we know about. It's in our language. We've been talking about this stuff for a couple of years. It's not a foreign land for us. At the start of the program, I think if we get them happening once a week or every couple of weeks, that'd be great. Ultimately, we'd like it to be an ingrained part of the way we do business so that they're happening regularly. And ultimately, we do away with the cards. Cards are just a way to get this started. This is new, and we're not used to talking to each other based on a piece of paper in our hands, right? We're not really used to interviewing each other. So my guess is that at first it'll feel awkward and it might feel a little gimmicky. I understand that, but I just ask you to grab a card and give it a try. I think as we get experienced at having these discussions, they'll become much more conversational, and that initial newness or awkwardness will fade away, and we'll just be talking to each other. We're good at that. The other thing that these Rate Your State conversations will do is give us an opportunity to practice courage and grace, right? So you have to have courage to come up to somebody and have the Rate Your State conversation, and that person has to have the grace to listen and accept it and have an open conversation about states and accept ideas that are offered about the critical error reduction techniques that they could use that day. So it'll make us better at courage and grace, which is the cornerstone to stop and make it safe, which is what's going to keep us all safe. So the big dream here is that often on job sites, people are walking up to each other and say, "How are you doing today? Are you rushing? Tell me about your states." Remember what you can do to reduce the errors that occur when you're in those states. Rate Your State in the SafeStart program is critical because we've learned that 95% of the incidents and injuries that happen out there come from the person, right? Come from things that we do. They may not all be preventable, but the idea through SafeStart is to focus on the states that we're in: rushing, frustration, complacency, fatigue, and to self-trigger on the things that are going to get us hurt. I hope you have an engaging Finish with Zero meeting, and I look forward to hearing those Rate Your State conversations happening throughout the company. Thank you for your attention, and be safe out there.